Polls. The media can't live with them, and they can't live without them, and neither can anybody else. The best use of polls usually is not to confirm what you believe or confirm the media conventional wisdom, but to challenge it. There's a problem these days because there are so many polls, and you can be very confused by what you see. One of the things to be careful about is whether polls are asking people about issues they know anything about. People who are answering pollsters' questions tend to be polite, and they give them an answer, even if it's not an answer they have talked about very much. Something you should always look for if you really care about something is whether the same question has been asked in a different way by different pollsters. Because sometimes when you find that how the question is asked affects what the answers are, that probably means people haven't thought much about the question. The other thing to keep an eye out for always is who makes up the sample. There are so many different approaches to polling, and so many people not answering that telephone call in the middle of dinner that you have very wild variations in the nature of who gets called. And you should always keep an eye out for who has the best reputation for sampling a group of people that actually look like the country and aren't biased toward one group or another. A lot of people criticize reporters for doing too much of what's called horse race journalism during elections based on the polls. Now, as Frank DeFord, the great sports writer, pointed out, if you're going to use a sports metaphor, use a pennant race, not a horse race, because horse races are over in a minute and a half. The truth is, as many reporters have said over the years, if you're a journalist covering a campaign, the first question everybody always asks you is who's going to win. So it's inevitable that journalists are going to report on the polls and tell you why someone's up and someone's down and who's gained and who's lost. And so I think that what we have to do is accept a certain amount of horse race journalism, but call it pennant race journalism and put it in its proper place and not let it dominate all campaign coverage, which it sometimes has a tendency to do. It's important to be wary of interest groups who use polls to prove that the American public, the American people, agree with them on a particular issue. There are many issues where people may feel one way when they think about one aspect of the problem and another way when they think about another aspect of the problem. Two really good examples of that historically are on Social Security privatization and the bank bailout after the great economic crash. On Social Security privatization, if you ask the question, do you think you should be able to keep some of your Social Security taxes and invest it? Well, a lot of people say yes to that. But as soon as you ask other questions like how would you feel if that meant that your Social Security payment would go down, what looks like a yes opinion suddenly turns into a no opinion. My advice to everybody is watch that question, watch how it's posed, and always be wary when someone comes up to you and says, the people clearly agree with me.
Swing states are the handful of states in any presidential election that is competitive. They're competitive for a variety of reasons. It can be historical reasons, it can be the certain demographics that make up a state.